Good evening and welcome everyone to another edition of Friday with Friends. It's good to see you all. Today's friend, Tara Patel, all the way from Tampa, Florida. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you, Brother Greg.
Is that the pronunciation of your name? How would you pronounce your first name?
I pronounce it Tara, but
Tara.
many people however they pronounce it, as long as they call me.
Yeah. And Tara is a longtime meditator, and she calls herself a right hand of the Brahma Kumari's Meditation Center in Tampa, Florida. Welcome to our program, Tara. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, brother.
The title of today's program is The Science of Silence. Now that's quite a combination that, maybe at first people don't put those two things together. So let me ask you as a first question, when you hear that title, The Science of Silence, what does that mean to you?
For me, science is very powerful, as we know, in today's world. We use the science and technology and all the facility that science has created. And to me is that how much effort people put into the science, their time, their energy, their study, they experiment, they observe. When they fail, they try again, and all that. And finally, at the end of the rope, they achieve beautiful technology, beautiful machines or tools for us to use. And we take many benefits from those tools. For example, cell phone that, does so much work. And all this is created by science. But science, the people who create this science and technology, I feel they go deep into the silence first. So for me, the science is created by the silence, and therefore I call silence is the mother of the truth, whatever the truth that they wanted to invent or create. So behind the creation, behind the experiment, they needed deep silence. And that's what I meant, that silence is more powerful. Silence is the science of silence is very deep and very powerful for us to understand and experiment with it. Because I feel that we all have, on the one hand, all these facilities, technology, and the luxury, I call luxury of everything that we need, we have it within our reach. As long as we have lots of money, we can buy anything. But then at the same time, the other side of the coin is that people are stressed, people are anxious, people are having so much doubt and fear. They live with anxiety and all that. So on one hand, the science provides the tools, but then we need to use the silence and the science of the silence, meaning understanding, the study, the experimenting, the discipline that gives us that richness of peace of mind or relaxation or even the joy of life.
You bring up many points there, and I'm struck by the point that maybe, we think of, when I think of silence, I don't automatically think of science, but if I, just in science, when I think about science, I think of the atom and the exploration into the infinitesimal spaces of the atom. That must be a very silent place inside of an atom. But look at the power that the atom has when we learn how to manipulate the anatomy of an atom. In the same way, is there power in silence?
Yes. I feel that the science that I talked about earlier, the technology and the physical tools are powerful. But silence is more powerful than the tools that science creates. How? You mentioned atom. You know, there is another word for atom in, by the way, I was born in India. I have been living in United States for over 50 years now. And in India, the word atom that you use, there is another word which is similar to it. It's called Atma. And Atma is also, it's a point. It's the starting point of the silence. And the both are powerful. And the silence, when I go into my, because we are so far away from our true self, and for example, Atma, the soul, in English we call the soul, we are so far away from our existence, our essence, that we got lost in the science. But when I understand the original, everything is developed through the seed of the silence. Even the science is developed from that seed, and the seed is a silence. And this, when I get in touch with that inner peace, inner being, which is called Atma or the soul, then I can experience the richness, the greatness that we have within the human being. Because we are so much caught up in the outside world, the physical world, all the tools and facility that we have, we are more and more far away and distance from this original silence that we all have within us. And I feel that this, when people are stressed, when people are angry or frustrated about little things or the big things, I feel because we don't know how to create that silence, how to create, how to experience peace of mind from within. It's not outside, it's within us. And that's why I feel the science of silence, that I need to understand that I am that silence. I can create the silence in a second. I can create that peace within me in a second. I want to share one example with you. One of our senior Dadi of the organization, Dadi Janki, who passed away at age of 104 years. Just imagine that. And she, since the beginning, since childhood, she was following this path. She was practicing this Raja Yoga meditation that offered by the Brahma Kumaris. And she was practicing. And one time, she was visiting outside of India. By the way, our headquarters is in India. So she was visiting outside of India, and someone asked her, what is the difference between peace and silence? And here comes the science of the silence. I find the answer in this, her answer, that how the silence is, you know, the science of the silence we need to understand. And her answer was between science and peace, silence and peace is, first go deep into the silence and you will find the peace. To me, that was a profound answer for me, you know, that's why they call silence is the mother of truth, mother of science.
So silence, I could say that it's the creative place where everything starts from.
Everything
and
begins.
It sounds very attractive. What this silence that you're talking about sounds very attractive. But then when I put it to my own mind, I find there's the opposite of that, is that there's the noise of all these thoughts that I have. And like you explained, that the silence is behind science. Also, maybe, is there a way that maybe I could take a scientific approach to discovering silence, that, to experiment with? How do I get to this place that you're talking about? I want to believe what you're saying, but I find that when I sit down, my thoughts are are racing about things that have nothing to do with why I'm here at this moment. What are some tips or any advice that you can give to me of how to limit this noise that I have in my mind?
Sure. Not that I wanted to give you advice, but I will give you some tools to practice, because silence is about discipline. We have to remember that without a discipline, even science, you cannot create the science. You cannot invent anything. You cannot be creative without this discipline. So silence, I need to understand, is a discipline. And yes, I agree with you. Many times when I have a big, long list of to-do lists or responsibility that I have to fulfill, my mind goes fastest speed. There are so many thoughts, thought of doubt, thought of fear, thought of insecurity, thought of not good enough, I don't know how to do it, all these thoughts. And yet I'm able to fulfill responsibility later on. But at the end of the task, I'm so tired and exhausted. Why? Because I'm not helping myself at that moment. So the first thing I need to, the discipline that I'm talking about is that I have to have a discipline of my own mind. I'm not saying that control your mind, because we cannot, but we can discipline our mind, because the mind is the one, our own, within this being, there is a beautiful mind that we all have. And this mind, once I discipline, who creates all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of feelings. Let's say if I have a negative feeling about myself, if I'm not secure, if I have so much doubt about myself, then my thought will weaken me even more and more, bring more and more stress, more and more anxiety. So the discipline here, that I need to first discipline my mind, that listen, it's like an inner conversation. Of course, all the time we have inner dialogue going on within our mind, mind and our intellect. But then discipline helps me to quiet my mind, slow down my thoughts. And in that thought, in that silence, that, like I said, the silence is discipline. In the silence, I organize my mind. I give a proper thoughts to my mind, that listen, I tell myself in silence that I don't need to worry about anything. I'll do my best, because I have prepared myself. So I don't have to worry about, I don't need to have a doubt. Just do your best. And then what happens when I discipline my mind in a way, I encourage my mind to be more positive, then my every thought I create, is like giving a roadmap to my mind to go on to the positive journey while I'm doing the task. So anything I'm creating, this discipline of silence helps me to be more focused, focus on my task or responsibility, more concentration. It allows me to be more concentrated. And that's how the science is created. You can't be distracted while you're looking for a vaccine or some remedies for the big illnesses, anything. And I'll give you another example, practical example, how we enjoy music. I enjoy music very much. The old music, meaningful music. But between the music or the verse or the songs, there is a break of silence, pauses of silence. And because of that silence, let's say you're playing piano or listening the song, any song, there is a pause of silence. Even when you're playing piano, there is a pause, there is a silence between the notes. Because of that silence, between the words, between the music, between the songs, between two different words, that pause of silence gives a meaning to that song, gives a meaning. Otherwise, it becomes a noise.
That's an excellent point.
Loud and so noisy. So that's what I mean. That science we need to understand about the silence. That is the science, that pause between the two words.
it gives shape and beauty to the whole thing. Without it, it would just be noise. It would
Yes,
just be
yes.
noise.
And it makes not even meaningful, but it touches the heart of the others, because that's what we are, you know. That's what we enjoy. And then the words and the music and the sound is just the beauty, expression of beauty.
So you're making me, listening to you, making me think that just like in music, like to have kind of a musical way of thinking, that there's a combination of my thoughts that are the notes that I want to play, but they're based upon silence. So I could say that it's a selective silence. Like you mentioned the word concentration, and I was thinking after you said that concentration is kind of a selective silence, that I'm focusing on what I want and let everything else fall to the side. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, if you wanted to be productive, and concentration here for, let's say you wanted to Olympic runner, then you start practicing, but then you have to stay focused. You have to concentrate that what is your aim. If you get distracted by other activities or other people or other challenges that comes in the way, then you cannot achieve a success that you're looking for, you wanted to achieve. So in any area of our life, whatever the success I want, many people have lots of money, lots of higher position, power, everything, but yet they are totally lost because they don't take that momentary break to enjoy and experience that deep silence that is within us, that gives us more clarity that what am I doing? What am I doing it for? What is all this worth if I'm losing my peace of mind?
Also, by being silent, it seems that I'm saving so much energy that, as you mentioned, it's the thought, even if I accomplish my task, when I have all the thoughts that are not in harmony with my objective, it tires me out. And so do you find that silence is a way of, to use a metaphor of today's world, of recharging my battery?
Absolutely, absolutely. To renew my thoughts, like the biggest energy that makes us so tired and stressed and angry many times because we don't achieve something that we wanted to. We wanted to do something and we're not able to do. We expect from other people and they're not doing what I'm asking them to do, whether it's at home, family, or even at work or office or in a business. And people get stressed out. But to renew myself, that my expectation, are they valid? If I don't take that moment of silence and really look at myself, and I want to give you another example of practical tool, is that science is that science of silence is that silence is like a mirror. I look into the mirror. It allows me to look at myself clearly, honestly, from my heart. What am I looking at? And mirror doesn't judge. Mirror doesn't criticize. Mirror doesn't blame. So silence is like that mirror that allows me to see myself, my thought, my expectation, my anxiety, my doubt, my fear, my expectation from other people, from myself, anything that it allows me to see myself. And when I take that time and when I look at in the mirror of a silence, then I can see I have more clarity about my attitude, about my words, about my thoughts that I'm creating, and especially when I'm dealing with other people or even my own self, So mirror is this mirror of silence that allows me to quiet, look at myself honestly. And that's the place that I can change and transform if it is not helping me, if it is not working out for me, if it is not making my relationship happy and healthy, then I have this silence allows me to transform and do it in a different way. Let me realize my own weakness that I was expressing earlier. And now, through silence, I can see myself, renew myself, like you said, and rejuvenate myself and come out. When I move this silence away, mirror away, then I'm a better person. I'm more thoughtful. I'm more mindful. So
I'm feeling better already.
thank you. I'm glad. Because I
So
use these tools.
we're going, I'm sure we've used up our time, and there's three takeaways I have. Number one is that I'll find peace in the silence. And then I loved your metaphor that it's the spaces between the notes that makes the music beautiful. And then the last one is that, like, seeing myself in the mirror is silence, but there's no judgment or criticism or anything in that. So those are all very good practical things for me to think about. Would you give us like a 2 to 3 minute commentary based on what you shared with us today to help kind of put us in a meditative state of recharging our batteries right now?
Sure. In this moment, I take some time for myself. Just myself. I take a deep breath and then breathe out. I take another deep breath and breathe out. I feel relaxed. I feel peaceful. In this moment, I create a beautiful inner space of silence. And I close all the doors of unnecessary thoughts, negative thoughts. Completely close the door. And in this inner space is just me, a point. I detach myself from everything that I see with my physical eyes and focus on a beautiful point of light. In a silence, I see this light so bright, radiating beautiful, powerful energy. The energy of purity, love, wisdom, truth, and strength. This is who I am. Always silent. always peaceful. To experience my inner strength, my peace. All I have to do during the daytime, several times a day, just go into this inner space where I see my inner greatness. Om Shanti.
Tara, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
for so generously sharing from your heart. I could tell that was a scientific sharing of the heart, and it's nice when those two things go together. And I feel recharged. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you again.
Thank you, brother. Thank you
thank
for
you.
the opportunity. Om
Yes.
Shanti.
Thank you, Mita. Bye-bye for now.